I made a couple of YouTube community posts and Twitter posts about this, but apparently it's really trendy to talk about it in videos instead, so here we are. The Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, is a law that has existed since 2000, well before YouTube. For those of you who don't want to look through the law and or can't understand legalese, the basic intent is to make it illegal to collect the private data of children, because that's creepy and weird. YouTube violated this law. Most people don't personally care about little Timmy, how long he spends watching Draculina vs. Pound Puppies, how much he plays Fortnite, and how much playing Fortnite wants him to drink Mountain Dew. Advertisers, however, do, because children under 13 consume a lot of screen media. Video games, TV, the internet, whatever, all of which need ads to keep the lights on. So they approached YouTube saying, hey, we'd like to sell these ads to children in a violation of COPPA, a law that's been around since 2000. And YouTube, subsidiary of Google, decided to throw out the don't be evil clause in their mission statement, shake hands, and rake in the money. Now, I mentioned under 13 earlier. That's the age which COPPA has decided you no longer qualify as a kid and more of a teenager who is now responsible for not clicking on advertisements that track how long you play Fortnite and how much Mountain Dew you drink while doing it. So COPPA outlines a couple of ways that websites can manage users and the data of users who are under 13 that sign up to use them. One of the most common is just don't let them onto the website. You might recognize this from YouTube's terms of service saying you must be 13 or older to use this website. This is the most common variant because it just blocks out anyone who is under 13 from use of the website, thus avoiding the problem of collecting their data entirely. This would all be well and good if YouTube followed its own terms of service. See, when talking about their brand, YouTube, the website that was founded because someone really wanted to see Justin Timberlake expose Janet Jackson's boobs to the world, likes to brag that one of their biggest audience groups is children under 13. In fact, they like to brag that the kids account for half of their revenue stream. But wait, how could they do that without targeted ads, something that is illegal under COPPA, which they were fined for? Rather than admit they were fined, they just settled, turned around to the creators and said, hey, so there's this brand new law called COPPA that we didn't know about, but apparently have to follow because we're not rich enough to ignore federal law. Obviously, the burden is on you. So here's 2 check marks. Do you make content for kids, or do you make content that is never for kids and kids will never watch it? Now, for a lot of creators, this is an interesting binary, in the sense that neither option is completely correct. While baby shark videos are ludicrously popular, the vast majority of popular channels on YouTube do not make entirely baby shark or similar nursery rhyme-related videos, nor do they make explosions of blood and gore. If only there was some sort of general audience option that YouTube could provide. But wait, COPPA already provides one. There is a clause in COPPA that states that the federal government recognizes not all animation is made for kids, and that some animation, and by extension other pieces of media, might have kids as part of the audience, but is targeted towards a general, all ages, wider audience. You might recognize this from every rating system ever made, like G for general audience, TVG for general audience, E for everyone, versus TVY and TVYA for youths and U's over 7, and KA for video games, kids to adults. Think of it as Sesame Street where Elmo teaches you how to count versus Mario going on a running and jumping adventure across space and time. So the general audience option exists, however YouTube does not seem to want to recognize it. This creates yet another problem. The way the no, I do not make content for children and it is never intended for children is phrased, and the way that YouTube's many legal disclaimers phrase it, you would only click this if children are never intended to watch any of your videos ever. Because if a children does manage to watch that video, you'll be fined $42,000, which the vast majority of content creators on YouTube cannot afford. YouTube's provided a vast number of things that they say might attract a child to watching a video, and while legally they can't say outright that any of these will automatically make your video for children, they sure as hell imply it. This would mean that the video Literally Hitler, an animated video about kids trying to survive literally Hitler, would technically be classified as made for children, because it's animated, features children, and children might watch it. But if you click yes, this video is intended for children, then guess what? Your video cannot be in playlists, your video can't have end cards, your video can't have comments, your video can't be searched. Basically, it is completely dead in the water. Personalized ads targeting children also won't play, saving YouTube from COPPA, but this is not comfort to content creators who rely on YouTube as a source of income, and are basically being asked, hey, do you want to make no money? Now, the vast majority of content creators aren't going to be the ones skulking around the internet looking at kids and taking all their data so that they can sell it to advertisers who want to sell these kids Mountain Dew. The vast majority of creators aren't going to have Spider-Man and Elsa go around killing a Colombian drug cartel, taking and then doing all their cocaine, and then asking for little Timmy's mom's credit card number. But the way that this is phrased and presented to creators, one would think that everyone is a target. Now you might be asking, Why doesn't YouTube just add a general audiences option to this checkbox? Why doesn't YouTube enforce the under 13 clause? Or, alternatively, why doesn't YouTube have any user that is under 13 just locked into YouTube Kids until they turn 13? Well, aside from YouTube Kids being fundamentally broken with a lot of things slipping through the cracks and YouTube not really wanting to fix it, the answer is quite simple. Kids under 13 are YouTube's main source of revenue. YouTube knows that a lot of content creators rely on the platform as a source of income. With a rapid string of events that have caused a lot of people to lose trust in YouTube as a platform, they also know that content creators are not going to be stupid enough to say, yes, I want to keep making content, but I don't want to make any money off of it because kids might watch it. Especially considering that in the past, YouTube demonetized a whole lot of channels and or videos that were seen as not child-friendly, and now are saying that if your videos are child-friendly, you are also demonetized. Now, to be fair, they're working on a way to put more adult-oriented ads on not child-friendly videos, addressing the problem that we are not currently having, so that we don't have to target the edgy 13 to 15-year-old demographic that likes Shadow the Hedgehog and Reaper. So YouTube decided to capitalize on that outrage by saying, hey creators, there's this brand new law that we were never aware of called COPPA, one that we just so happened to violate by selling personalized ads to children, and it's all your fault, so if you don't want to get hit by this law that's specifically targeting content creators, then you'd better make sure you're not doing anything that children might watch. There's definitely not a general audience option, there's just these two. In doing so, they have created a campaign of misinformation and panic, causing a bunch of people to rail against this federal law and make petitions to repeal it and or reword it, also that YouTube doesn't have to pay more settlements for violating a federal law. Now you might be thinking, wow, a corporation wants to weaponize the outrage of people who make it a platform just because they think they're too rich and powerful to follow federal law? That's cartoonishly evil. And you'd be right. Everybody gangsta till the animated avatar uses the angry sprite. I don't have one that crosses my arms, so